Okay, so we are here. So we need to just get back out here, do this bit of inland bit, and then we're on the coast. And I think there are some nice surf spots along here. And then we're gonna go and take the ferry to this peninsula that's meant to be very beautiful. I think there'll be a dilemma because there are some nice places to go down here and all the way along here. But there are lots of big hills. So I think probably we won't do that. But we can weigh that up properly nearer the time. And then before too long, we'll be in Nicaragua. Here we are.
Our first time in Central America, and it has been a real change. Before leaving on this trip, I was most apprehensive about this section, passing through all the murder capitals of the world, with many people worrying for our safety. It has been a real surprise to see how developed and modern everything has been, not just in Costa Rica and Panama, but in El Salvador and Nicaragua too. We have seen our first Walmart, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Burger King, and even indulged in a few McFlurries. The American presence here has been extremely noticeable. For the first time in the trip, we have been able to have the classic European cycle touring supermarket car park lunch, which seems to confuse the locals a lot.
What would you give the sandwich out of 10?
7 or 8.
7 or 8?
A bit tough bread.
For great fillings.
Refried beans, cheese and avocado.
It has also been very amusing, as in every country we go through, people warn us of how dangerous the next country is going to be. But when we get to the new country, it feels absolutely fine, and the people warn us of the next country and how there are many robbers and murderers. Most of the people who give us these warnings have never been to the countries they are warning us about, so we have to take this advice with a pinch of salt. Plus, we often don't really have an option, so it's quite unhelpful. I obviously don't want to jinx our luck, but we have felt very safe and have been able to camp in very open places with no problems at all. So one of the things that's been really hard about Costa Rica, and I guess Panama too, is that comparatively they're just so much more expensive than South America, like more expensive than the UK often. So for example, tonight we rocked up in a really nice town a bit early. We had some time, we were like, oh, we'll go get some beers, and then it ended up pouring with rain, so we thought, oh, we'll just camp out here and get some dinner as well. And in the end we ended up having a bill of $60, which is just ludicrous. I don't think we've ever paid that much money in the UK for a nice meal.
It wasn't even a nice meal.
Yeah, it's kind of just pretty
the beer
average.
was very nice.
And now, because we can't really afford hotels or anything, we're out camping in the rain, but having just paid $60 for dinner, so it just feels very weird and confusing. And we also, on a side note, just had to kill a large colony of ants from last night that somehow survived the day in the tent as well, which was fun. The wildlife has been extremely rich, and sometimes too rich in the case of Phoebe and mosquitoes. Luckily for me, they prefer her blood. It's been sad to see how some animals are treated though. Who puts a bird in a cage? Luckily, we have had the privilege of seeing and hearing happy macaws in the trees. Balancing surfing and cycling has continued to be a challenging part of the trip. We've booked a kite surfing course in Mexico with our friends Abby and Liam in November, which means that we have to do around 450 kilometres a week without detours to be there in time. This is very doable, but every time we take a dirt road to a surf spot, this means we have further difference to cover, but it's always been worth it. We're now in the land of Nicaragua. Across the border, we are very scared of it. because everyone said it was going to be really hectic. Who said it was going to take 3 hours, and we did it in about 35 minutes, and everyone was really lovely.
And everyone else had to put their bags through an X-ray machine, but they just waved us through.
Which was very nice.
I think it's because of the holes in my t-shirt.
Yeah, our technique was looking as dirty as possible. I had my washing hanging on my bike. He was wearing her holiest t-shirt. Yeah, we didn't try at all, really. And everyone was just really nice to us. No one asked for bribes. It was very smooth, well, I guess we had to go through about 5 people to show our passports and stuff, which is quite ridiculous, but it was all right. It was all fine. And now we're in Nicaragua, and we're going to go surfing tomorrow.
Maybe.
The rain has also been really tough. It seems that every morning there is hot, glorious sunshine, but as the afternoon comes on, we notice the clouds coming in, and before long we are immersed in big thunderstorms and rain. After over 10 months on the road, our equipment is getting more and more tired. The panniers are less waterproof than they used to be, and the tent siphons water from the ground sheet, meaning that camping without a roof currently is not really an option. One thing that has been a constant throughout Latin America is the prevalence of auto motels, which rent rooms by the hour, if you get what I mean. The evening storms mean we sometimes are forced to stay in these, and recently we ended up in a particularly bad one with unwashed sheets and open top walls, meaning we could hear everything going on next door, leading to a very uncomfortable dinner. Maybe the word just killing mosquitoes. Luckily it only cost us $5. With the water and also the salt by the sea, everything is corroding, meaning that my front derailleur now is jammed, limiting my gear use. Hopefully we can get a replacement along with other items on a growing list in Guatemala, in Antigua, a fairly well developed and popular city. Our panniers aren't the only thing that have worn out. Our t-shirts are also falling apart, which is a bit of an SOS, as these are the only clothes we have. I'm hoping to find a decathlon soon on the road to replace my merino that has served me so well. We've had lots of problems with punctures on Phoebe's bike. We think this is because her tyres that she bought in Cali are now really worn out, and is actually a testament to how good the Schwalbe marathon tyres are. I've had the same front tyre for over 15,000 kilometres with almost no punctures, but the South American tyres are just not built to the same German quality. I'm currently recording this in El Salvador, having crossed the border from Nicaragua by boat with our dear friend Timothy, who unfortunately took a tumble in the hostel, slicing his hand open. No surfing for him for a few weeks, and he will be racing up to Puerto Escondido to meet his family. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up in the water in Mexico when he's all healed up. Our next plan is to go up into the mountains of Guatemala, put the surfboard away for a few weeks, and see our first active volcano. At the moment, we are changing countries every week, so after Guatemala, it will be nice to get to know Mexico a bit better.
There's a poo here. Do you want to have a close-up of the poo?
Is that where you've been sat? That's so hygienic.
I went into Central America.
Living your best life.